Oh boy. Well, it looks like the industry is just going to fall apart even more now. All right, so news about the Unity game engine. Now, usually I'm all excited over the Unreal Engine, but Unity game engine is used by pretty much a majority of game developers out there because it is free. It is an easy way to jumping into game development. There's a lot of developers they just end up using it. If you keep an eye out for logos of whether it's Unreal or Unity, you'll end up noticing that a lot of times it does say Unity game engine on it. You can make stuff that looks really good in it. You can make stuff that is very mobile based. You can make stuff that is very indie based. Unity is very versatile. Um, it's not Unreal Engine with all the shine and the nanotech and all that stuff. It's not DLSS. It's not this and that and the other thing. But Unity, I do believe it's not DLSS. Again, my interest has always been in Unreal Engine because it just looks really cool. So, Unity is just something, again, like a lot of people, when they're just starting out, they will use Unity because it is easier. But the news around the Unity is that Unity is not unifying the game developer base. So, effective January 1st, 2024, we will introduce a new Unity runtime fee that's based on game installs. Now, there's a bunch of people who have already covered this. I was listening to a podcast of developers talk about this, and there was a very big point that got brought up, especially in the way of like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, where you have multiple games on there and people can install the games as many times they want, and it is a very low entry fee on the pricing to install games that are made with Unity as many times as you want. Now, this could affect both the Xbox, Nintendo, and the PlayStation networks, in the fact of if there is a game company out there that can't afford to pay these install fees, they're going to have to take their games off from essentially anything that is like a Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever Nintendo has for all theirs. So we will also add cloud-based asset storage, Unity DevOps tools, and AI at runtime at no extra cost to Unity subscription plans. So a bunch of it was anarchy, chaos. Everything went wrong with this. So we have heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst. The runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday cause we are listening, talking to our team members, community, customers, and partners, and we'll be making changes to the policy. We will share an update in a couple days. Thank you for your honest and critical feedback. Okay, so what I was hearing from developers when they were talking on this stuff was basically it's like think of the low price point entry on every game that is on a Game Pass. It destroys. So not only does it destroy developers like goodwill with using Unity because now all of a sudden there's a bunch of additional fees that they have to deal with, but also it would destroy anything like a Game Pass or a PlayStation Plus because then you're going to have a bunch of games drop off from the subscription service. So you're literally tearing apart the industry by trying to implement something to get more cash. From what I've heard of the developers talking is that they were Unity was already making money, but this is a way for them to make even more. Again, it's like you pay for a license fee to be able to use the game engine. Every game sale that ends up happening, you pay a percentage of that to Unity or Unreal, which would be Epic. And in doing so, that's the reason why like Unity and Epic have made so much money. Epic, anything made in Unreal Engine, Epic is getting a slice of the purchase price that you are making for a game that is made in Unreal Engine. But also, I don't like Epic or I don't like Epic Games or whatever. Okay, now think of all the games that you have loaded up and there's an Unreal Engine logo on there and you are like, this game is great. Well, That's where Epic is keeping the lights on for upgrading the Unreal Engine, so then the developers can make those great games that you end up playing. So it takes money to make money in any business, in industry, in organization, all that. Is Unity fully in the wrong on this? Absolutely. Is there going to be changes to all these policies and everything? Absolutely, because you are literally like they're going to tear a giant size hole of like a black hole in, and there's developers already looking at changing from the Unity game engine and going over to something like an Unreal Engine. The reason why a lot of companies wanted to work with Unity is, again, because it's free and it's easy to work with. So if you know how to, so if you've ever used a Photoshop application and you go from like, or like a audio recording application like Audacity, and you try and go over to like Reaper or something, both programs are free. One is more professional than the other. One has way more buttons and is a whole different operation than the other. I still couldn't fully tell you how to use Reaper, but I can use Audacity. Same way with Photoshop. I could tell you how to use a simple Photoshop, but if you try and put me into like Adobe Photoshop, where there's so much more that you can play around with, no clue. I make videos all the time using Sony Vegas, or I guess it's Magic Vegas now. Vegas versus Premiere, two very different programs. They do very similar stuff. One is more professional. One is more of, like your professional video maker stuff. One is more professional movie style profession stuff. So, yeah, it's the same thing with Unity versus an Unreal Engine. You can't just take everything from one and drop it into the other, because a lot of the assets don't talk to one another, going back and forth between the game engines, and that's just saying the least of it, because there is so much technical aspects that go into all this stuff too. Yeah, this is just like the most ridiculous move. It's just another thing of like the gaming industry is actively trying to tear itself apart for some reason. And we are, all of us gamers, like right now we have new games that are already made and are just in the gone gold bug fixing, the last like month or so. It used to be 3 months, now it's down to a month, where it's like just bug fixes and you're trying to get the game gold, get it uploaded on the networks, get whatever discs that you might end up printing out of it. A lot of times we don't even have discs anymore. We have a lot of games that were over the last 3 or 4 years that were made through the COVID stuff and all that, that are now actually coming out. The problem is, in the next like 2 or 3 years, because we have rare strikes, we have our possible rare strike that could be coming. Now we have this Unity thing. We've had fan bases and developers not really wanting to talk with the fan bases, because the fan base is just so damn toxic and it's just bad community. Whether it be community managers, that are just like there's a reason why community managers are very uptight, because the community itself a lot of times is not great. But again, you might be looking at the gaming industry of like, it's fine, we're going, this is all, it is all whatever it is. But the thing is sooner or later you're going to run out of games to release if we have all this stuff keep stacking up, where there is this problem after problem after problem. We had a voice actor strike, we had a writer strike, we had again with all this game engine stuff. And then we also have content creators doing very stupid stuff of making videos that go against developers. And it's like, how do we keep the industry upright? Because the gaming industry and the tech industry really overall is a newer industry. Social media, gaming, the whole 9 yards. We have only been around for like 10 years, 10, 15 years at this point. Every other industry has been around for like 50, 60, 70 years. So we are going through a ton of growing pains right now, and we are just trying to keep the industry up and afloat. This is just the latest thing of just like all of a sudden, literally the engine that games are made on, the building block to make the virtual world and the virtual experience even happen. This is what's happening with it. Unity is trying to charge runtime fees on game installs. So literally the runtime fee on the game install is if you install, uninstall, reinstall again, that's 2 charges. Whether it's 30 cents, 40 cents, you times that by 1 million people maybe you might play a Unity game, plus also the back catalog of games that are already there, it's a nightmare waiting to happen. It's so much money that game studios would end up losing in the long run. That could go into developing even more stuff in the game, developing the game engine, paying voice actors. Do we really want to bring the gaming industry back to the days of we can't even do a voice acting gig with this game, so you have to read all the dialogue on the screen? We can't even attempt to do a voice acting. I play old games. Like I like doing my own voice acting with games as is. I mean, if you see my Starfield playthrough, half of that game I'm voice acting my own main character. It is fun to do and everything, but it's just like, if you can actually have a voice actor in the game, it makes the character come alive. And so that's where I'm like, man, the ripple effect on this is significant, to say the least. So hopefully Unity gets their stuff together. It's most likely the higher ups do not go after game developers. I've heard something on this too. Like I heard word that game developers were kind of getting like or the Unity game engine developers, sorry, we're getting some like death threats or something. Do not do that. It's below you. Just like, if you want to show concern, go after the higher ups in the executive positions, because they're the ones that are making this call. It's not the game developers. The game developers just want to make cool shit. That's the way it's always gone. Even voice actors and everything, if you don't like their work, don't go after them. It's just stupid to do that. They're just playing a role, just like the game developers are playing a role in trying to make the best product that they possibly can to give you the best experience that you can possibly have. It's really the higher ups. It's the board of directors. It's the publishers. It's the ones that are the stock meetings and all that stuff. Or the shareholder meetings. It's all that stuff. And whoever owns the stocks and all that, they're the ones that are making these decisions happen. To charge more DLC charges and all that stuff, again, it's publishers, not developers. So, I wanted to make a video. This has been going on for everybody's been kind of going over and over this stuff for about a week now. I wanted to put out some word on it. I am busy in the background making some stuff of my own right now, so not game development stuff, video developments. Or I have video stuff in the works in the background. There we go. So this is probably going to be a one shot, no edits. I just wanted to put some word out there on this whole thing, and yes, it is crazy that Unity would even think of doing this stuff. I was actually debating on like sitting down sometime and messing around with Unity. I did it with Unreal Engine. Unreal it's a beast of a game engine, and there's a lot you have to learn before you can even start making anything. I was going to try and sit down like 4 hours and learn it, and it's like, oh no. There's so much more there that you have to learn. Unity, yeah. I basically watch out. If you are a game developer, watch out for Unity. It's still a good tool, but it's going to cost you in the long run. So if you liked anything on this, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. And anyways, be on the lookout for other videos on the channel. Again, it's probably going to be a one shot, so hopefully I didn't mess up too badly in this. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, I will see you next time.